Okay, and how much was it?
Tens of thousands, tens and tens and tens of thousands. So I sold this in 5 minutes. We never sold another thing for the whole show.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Now, where is Charlie? Charlie, are you around?
Yeah, hold on. I'm just coming in. It's absolutely chucking it.
It's pouring down with rain out there. It's pouring down with rain. But this is...
Sorry, guys, I have to get my cup of tea.
Oh my...
Oh, it's dreadful out there.
It's a storm. There's a storm blowing.
Sorry.
How are you
It's not as
doing?
bald as yours.
No, but it would be if you shaved it like me. How are you doing?
I can't afford a razor like you.
Good to see you.
Please note, I do wear long trousers.
Do you know what? Somebody said on YouTube recently, I bet we never see Charlie ever again wearing long trousers.
I bought these 24 years ago.
You never did?
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you what, they've
I'm on a
lasted
trip to
well.
the Cotswolds and they still fit.
They are amazing. They must be very good quality, Charlie.
They are, and they can be bought as well.
Everything is for sale.
Please edit that out.
That's staying in. Now then, you said to me, you've been putting together a collection of Black Forest carvings. Now, knowing you, they're going to be of the finest quality. Now, you're too modest. You are charmingly modest. I know they're their best.
It's always better, David.
Well, it is.
It's
It
always
is.
better.
But let's really get into the nitty gritty.
You
of this.
inspired me when you did this long case cop
Yeah.
from Switzerland, from Lucerne, I think it was.
Yeah.
I thought, you know, I've got all these wonderful things, and I've got some ladies coming to see us later on
Yes,
today, as you know.
yeah.
I'm going to put a little package of my collection together.
Wow. Okay.
And here we are. I mean, I do have more, but this was all I could fit on this wall. And I've been collecting these since I was 22. I think that was the first one I bought in a very posh shop in Boscombe in the early 80s or mid 80s.
Right.
From the Swift family. And I think it was all at 780 or 870 pounds.
That's a lot of money in those days,
It
Charlie.
was. It was a different world then.
He is magnificent.
And I've been buying these ever since. And every now and then I sell one just to sort of keep the coffers so I can go and buy another one.
Yes.
I have bought just another. I was hoping it was arriving today, but it didn't.
But this must be one of the best collections.
Oh, I'm sure there's better. I'm sure. There
Again,
always is.
beautifully
I've had
modest.
better, but
Which is your favourite object here?
well, I'm very partial to the clock because I love the story of William Tell. I mean, how good's that get with the Lion of Lucerne?
Well, we've filmed the clock already, haven't
We
we?
have, but you've never seen it properly together in its correct surroundings.
No, you are right. And in this wonderful lighting, because it was in one of your storerooms, wasn't it, when we filmed with that? But it captures the colour here, doesn't it? That lovely glow. Now, what makes a really good Black Forest carving, Charlie?
For me, David, it's when I want to keep looking at it.
Ah, good point.
If you woke up having had a bad dream of birds attacking you, and you saw that on the wall, you think, blimey, O'Reilly, it's in that room.
Yeah.
I mean, that is probably the finest carving.
Is it?
It's very tight. And you
So
could,
what
you
do
could
we
cut,
look
you
for?
could cut your, literally, if you run your fingers against the feather,
Yes, sharp.
it's sharp.
Yeah.
And that's what he intended, whereas these ones are much smoother. They're smaller. I think that'll be a peregrine falcon probably.
Yeah.
And they've used a hot poker to decorate the wings and the colours of the feathers here.
Yes, I can see that. So they literally burnt the colour into it, haven't they? So is it the fine detail, the sharpness that makes...
For me,
Yeah.
and also the composition.
Yes.
I'd like to show you a really bad one to give you an idea, but I don't have a really bad one.
You don't have one? No. Well, why would you? What would be a very bad one for anybody watching this and they've seen them on telly and Bargain Hunt and Antiques Road Trip with me as well, because I've bought Black Forest bears for like 30, 40 quid.
Yeah. David,
What are we looking for?
It's very difficult to impart what's in my head. But if there was one that I might not buy again here, it would probably be that one. I'm presuming it's an elk actually, and he's roaring away. These actually, it's very clever for shipping. These come out.
Right.
I mean, that carving's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
And this is probably very lifelike, but I don't think I'd buy that one again.
Tell me why.
It just doesn't talk to me, whereas that one does. I prefer the smooth texture they've got on the skin here. And these are iron.
Iron.
Yeah, I remember because I cut my finger on one once. It's really sharp. It's like a
Really?
hook.
That's iron.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. But I mean, the Black Forest carvers, I mean, there was a lot of them, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Working in that area. What is the history that, as you know it?
A good book to read is called The Art of the Black Forest Carver.
Right.
And if you read the introduction, it was a lot of Italians and people around that area that couldn't make a living out of carving.
Right.
So they moved across the border towards Germany and Switzerland, and they found these beautiful timbers and started carving in these fruit woods. And Queen Victoria turned up with all her entourage one time and fell in love with it and started buying them.
Yes.
And of course that set the whole thing in trend and it became an enormous business.
Yes.
Enormous.
Yes. But of course there are levels, aren't there? But the tourist kind of the little bears, tourist pieces, and then you've got items like this that were likely made for the same market of Queen Victoria.
The wealthy.
The grand tours and all of that, yes.
And as everything, quality speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I've had, and I've always sold them, and I've had big carvings of mum Labradors, this big, literally 2-3 feet.
Really?
30, 40, 50,000 pounds with their pups feeding.
Okay.
Those you just don't see anymore.
Well, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I've seen the big bears, the 6-footers.
Yeah, I've had a few of those.
Yeah. What is the most expensive piece of Black Forest you've ever owned?
I came back from a trip from, it must have been Miami or doing a Palm Beach show with Rusty. And I bought rather a lot as usual, I was away. We got off the plane, I said, Rusty, I've got to go to London. You head home and I'll catch up with you later. And my parting words with other than that was, I'm not going to buy a bloody thing for weeks.
I know where
walked
this is
into
going.
a friend's shop in Pimlico Road to have lunch with him.
Yeah.
And he had a life-size golden eagle, 6-foot wingspan.
Kidding.
On its pedestal. Nick stood about 7'6" high on the pedestal and 6 foot across. And I thought, oh, something or other, which I'm not allowed to say, and I had to buy it. But he very kindly gave me 3 weeks to pay.
Okay, and how much was it?
It was a lot of money. Tens of thousands, tens and tens and tens of thousands.
Okay.
So we then took it a year later to Palm Beach.
In Florida?
Or might have been New York actually. We
Okay.
did a big show.
Yeah.
And Rusty and I always have a bit of a guess about how much we might or might not sell at a show. I sold this in 5 minutes for nearly $200,000. We reappraised what we thought the whole show. We never sold another thing for the whole show.
Who cares?
Who cares?